What's going on, guys? It's Sean from DoubleClutchHD, and I'm coming at you with some NL West predictions. This is the first video of a series that I'm going to have on my channel that's going to be uploaded over this week, and it's going to consist of just Major League Baseball predictions. Today, it's going to be the NL West, and we're going to right into it. So the first team I'm going to review or predict is the Arizona Diamondbacks. So looking at their key additions, they added Mark Trumbo from the Angels, big power hitter, which will be good for them in their ballpark. Addison Reed, a closing pitcher from the White Sox, and I think he's a nice addition to the team. And then Brad Ziegler, an aging but still effective left-handed pitcher, I believe. Their losses, Adam Eaton, who was a pretty good center fielder for them, but he was expendable at that point. They have Patrick Corbin. He wasn't traded or anything. He was supposed to be their ace, but then he got injured during the season or during spring training, so he's going to be out for the season, so I counted him as a loss. Then Tyler Skaggs, a nice up-and-coming pitcher, but the Diamondbacks have plenty of those, so he was expendable as well. So now, let's get into their projected lineup. They got Pollock leading off, Aaron Hill at second base, Paul Goldschmidt at first. He's probably going to win a Silver Slugger this year. Martin Prado batting fourth. I don't get that. He's not a power hitter of any sorts, but I mean, it's whatever. But yeah, Martin Prado. Mark Trumbo is going to be in the outfield, playing left field. As you saw, if you guys watched the game, Dodgers versus Diamondbacks, he had some trouble in left field, but he'll learn the position. I have faith in him, and he's a big power hitter, so he's going to hit at least 25 homers this year, I'm betting. Alright, so we got Miguel Montero. He's going to be behind the plate, and he's a solid catcher, but definitely not a premier catcher. So they're gonna have to they're gonna hope for a lot from him. Chris Owings, shortstop. It's between him and Didi Gregorius. But I heard they were shopping Didi for some starting pitching or relievers. So Didi might be gone, and Chris Owings, they like his work ethic, so I think they might keep him. And then finally we have Gerardo Parra. He's in outfield, and he's also a solid player. And yeah, he has a 336 OBP. I think that's our 2012 stats probably. So yeah, that's his work right there. So now going to their starters, Corbin was supposed to be first, but Wade Miley's going to take over that position. And then they're going to have Trevor Cahill going second, Brandon McCarthy at 3, Bronson Arroyo, who's hurt right now, but he's a potential 4, and Randall Delgado at 5, and Archie Bradley, maybe they'll stick him in sometime during the season. So their closers and setup men include Addison Reed, Brad Ziegler, and J.J. Putz. They have Cody Ross coming off the bench. They might trade him out for Gerardo Parra or AJ Pollock because Cody Ross is pretty good, and they're paying him a lot. So maybe he might be in the starting lineup. Didi Gregorius, he might get traded. Cliff Pennington, also a good player, but he's stashed in the bench. So let's see what they do with him. Eric Chavez, he's a good DH maybe for when they're facing American League teams, and he'll be a nice pinch hitter maybe for them going down the line. Henry Blanco is their backup catcher, and then Tony Campana is going to be their other utility man. And then for relievers, they have David Hernandez, Joe Thatcher, Oliver Perez, Tony Sipp, a new addition from the Orioles, Alex Sanabia, Matt Reynolds, and Josh Colmenter. So it's a little weak, but I think they'll be fine this year. I think they'll finish second again, unless they turn it around this year. And yeah, so now this isn't in any particular order. So now we're gonna go to the Dodgers, and they went 92 and 70, number 1 in the West. They had a great year last year, especially with the breakout year by Yasiel Puig, and their team played pretty well last year. So now let's look at their additions. Dan Herron on a 1-year, $10 million contract. Chris Perez, which is also a great addition for them, and Alex Guerrero, the international guy who sat out a year, so he might have some problems, but they're gonna send him to AAA from what I've heard. So some losses for them: Mark Ellis, Nick Punto, Ricky Nolasco, and Skip Schumacher. And not too much. They didn't lose too much, but they lost some good utility men in Punto and Schumacher. Nolasco, they traded for him in the middle of the year for some starting pitcher help, but then they replaced him with Dan Herron, so it's not too big of a loss. And then Mark Ellis, he went to the Cardinals. He was aging anyway, so there was no job for him, I don't believe, at second base because they have Alexander Guerrero coming up, but we'll see how that sorts out. So their lineup this year is going to be Yasier Puig. Leading off, I doubt it. He's a little hurt, so we'll see. I saw the news on SportsCenter today. Don Mattingly was kind of getting mad at him because he said he's always injured. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Carl Crawford is going to be second. He's hurt as well, so we'll see what his status is for opening day. Hanley Ramirez batting third. He's also a solid shortstop. Can't hit for power, can't hit for contact, he can also steal a little too, so we'll see how it goes for him. Adrian Gonzalez, he's pretty slow, but he's a solid hitter. Andre Ethier, he's going to start a while. Matt Kemp is injured, I believe. Okay, so Juan Uribe, who signed a 2-year, $16 million extension with the Dodgers, which was a decent signing. It fills their spot at third base, but I would like to see them. I would have liked to see them sign a younger guy, but he is a good clubhouse manager, I guess, a good leader. So it's good to have him back. AJ Ellis, the catcher, the man behind the plate. He's a solid option at catcher, hitting .253, but I mean, they could do better. And then D. Gordon, Mr. Flash Gordon, as I like to call him, he is just so fast. He's going to be starting at second, while Alexander Guerrero develops down in AAA. So now let's go to the starting rotation, and wow, that is a beast. Clayton Kershaw, obviously, he signed a huge contract. Zach Greinke at 2. He's hurt right now. He's hurt his shoulder in the first spring training game, so we'll see what his status is for the game, for the starting of the season. Hyunjin Ryu, solid. He's a workhorse. He pitches a lot of innings. Doesn't strike out too many guys, but at the same time, he just eats innings, and he gives you a chance to win. Is pretty much what I'm trying to say. So number 4, we got Dan Herron, who's been shaky to say the least while he was on Washington and on the Angels. But we'll see if he has a turnaround here. That's what the Dodgers are hoping. Paul Maholm at the 5, a little shaky still, but he'll lock it down pretty much. They still have Josh Beckett on the DL and Chad Billingsley, who could be back as early May. So we'll see how he does. So their closer, Kenley Jansen. There's setup men, J.P. Howell and Brian Wilson, both great options out of the bullpen. Now bench hitters, Matt Kemp. He's going to be inserted into the starting lineup probably because he's getting paid so much in place of probably Andre Ethier or Carl Crawford. He's also getting paid a lot of money, so we'll see what the Dodgers do. Justin Turner, I think he was a top prospect, but he might be on the bench. Tim Fedorowicz, he's going to be on the bench as well as a catcher. Scott Van Slyke, he was starting for the Dodgers, so I think he was starting in Carl Crawford's left field spot. So he's going to have some key at-bats. He had a couple homers. He had a homer and a double in the Arizona series. So yeah, he's going to have a nice year this year. He's probably going to be a utility guy, but we'll see how it goes. Sean Figgins, he's trying to have a career revival, I guess. And he's just fast, but he's not as good as he was on the Angels. But he's going to be on the bench, and he's going to come out for pinch running situations and all that ish. And now Paco Rodriguez coming out of the bullpen. Jamie Wright, the journeyman. Chris Perez, Brandon League, who's getting overpaid, Chris Withrow, Scott Elbert, and Julio Urias is supposed to make the the bullpen. And then they have some nice prospects down here like Corey Seager, Jock Peterson, and Alex Guerrero. So we're going to move on from the Dodgers. Spent a little too much time on them. Going to the Giants here, and they went 76-86, tied third in the West. And they had some nice additions in Tim Hudson and Michael Morse. Tim Hudson is gonna, I don't know, I don't really like that signing. But he had to go to a team, and the Giants gave him the most money, so I guess they'll take it. And Michael Morse, he's going to be a solid option for them at left, but he's a strictly power hitter, so we'll see how that goes with a huge Giants stadium. Key losses for them, Barry Zito to retirement, I believe, Andres Torres, and Chad Gauden. So not too many losses, not too many significant additions, but we'll see how their lineup looks. Angel Pagan, you know he's good. 273 average with a 406 slugging percentage with 44 RBI and 7 homers last year. So I think he's going to be solid at the leadoff spot. Marco Scudero, he was good for them until he got injured last year, so we'll see how he does. Not much of a power hitter, but he does get on base with a 352 OBP. Brandon Belt is supposed to be their third batter, and he is, wow, that was terrible, the third batter. But he has some power, 17 homers, 81 RBI, and 268 average, so he's going to be solid for them. Buster Posey, catcher, you know what he can do. He can play first as well, so we'll see what they do with him. 289 average, 17 homers, 82 RBI, you know what you're getting out of him. Hunter Pence, he signed a pretty hefty extension with the Giants with 23 homers, 85 RBI, and hitting 269. So he's gonna have a nice paycheck waiting for him. Hopefully he can perform this year. Pablo Sandoval, Kung Fu Panda, he's good as well. He bans the hot corner very well. So we'll see how he does this year. I hope he has a breakout season because I really like the Panda. Michael Morse, he's gonna give you a lot of power. He's not going to hit for average, but he's going to give you plenty of home runs to go around. And then Brandon Crawford, not much to say about him, but he's a solid option at shortstop as well. Maybe not the best, but still a solid option. Okay, so the starters are going to have to carry the Giants if they want to make a playoff run. They have Matt Cain, who is solid, had a perfect game, and he needs to do better than last year. 11-9 is not going to cut it for an ace, so we'll see. Hopefully he turns it around. Madison Bumgarner, solid year last year, 14-8, 3.24 ERA, and I think if he keeps it up his level of play, he will do fine. Tim Lincecum, okay, he is the dark horse for them. If he does well, when he pitches well, he pitches really well. But then he got injured, I think, because of his pitching mechanics. And we'll need to see if he actually pitches well this year, because if he pitches well, the Giants have a chance. But if he doesn't, he could end up being the next Joe Blanton. Okay, yeah. But next we have Tim Hudson. He's getting up there in age, so he might get injured a lot. He's more injury prone. So I hope they have some relievers that can, some long relievers that can go in his place. But otherwise, he's a pretty good pitcher until he got hurt. So we'll see what he does. I think he'll have a 500 record with a low ERA. So we'll see how that goes. Ryan Vogelsong, he kind of fell off everyone's radar after he had that no-hitter, I believe. Yeah, I think he had a no-hitter once, or had a no-hit bid. It was one of the two. But he kind of fell off the radar, and now he's in the 5th spot of the Giants' starting rotation. He might have a good year. I don't know. But let's go to the closers. Sergio Romo, one of the best in the game. And if he does well, the Giants will do well as well. Javier Lopez and Santiago Casilla are the setup men. Gregor Blanco in the outfield. He's coming off the bench. Good pinch hitter. And maybe DHing when they're playing American League teams. Hector Sanchez, don't know too much about him. Same with Joaquin Arias. I've heard of his name. I just don't really know him that well. George Contos, Jeremy Affeldt, Heath Hembry, Cameron Lowe, and David Huff make up the relieving core. Not too many big names, but still, I think he'll do well. I think they'll have a pretty good relieving core because they had high ERAs last year, but none of them really had bad records. So I think they'll do well. And the San Francisco Giants, I have them going third in the division, maybe fourth. They could drop to fourth if they're not careful. I don't see too much upside in them. They might win the pennant. I doubt it. So we'll see how it goes from there. Let's move on to the San Diego Padres. So the Padres, their key additions: Josh Johnson on a 1-year contract, Joaquin Benoit and Seth Smith. Their losses: Ronnie Cedeno, Gregerson, Guzman, and Logan Forsythe. So Josh Johnson, high risk, high reward kind of guy. Oh no, low risk, high reward kind of guy. Excuse me. They have him on a 1-year contract, so he's gonna be playing for a contract this year. They might get a good year out of him. He's been up and down lately, and nobody really knows what's wrong with him, but we'll see how he does. Joaquin Benoit, great reliever for the Tigers. Great addition for the Padres because pitching needs to be pretty good for them to make a run, excuse me. And finally, Seth Smith, he was on the A's, and he was a pretty good switch hitter, I believe. Might have been a left-hander. Yeah, he's solid for them, and he'll probably come off the bench. I'm not sure. He might start for them. We'll see. Because they have Yonder Alonso at first, so we'll see how Seth Smith fits in. Ronnie Cedeno, I mean, it wasn't too big of a loss. Luke Gregerson, he was a reliever, I believe, and he was pretty good for them. Jesus Guzman and Logan Forsythe, both bench guys, so not too much to worry about that. So Everett Cabrera leading off. I hate him because he juiced, but he was pretty apologetic about it, so I don't hate him as much. But still, you can't juice, man. It's not cool. And then Will Venable is going to be in the outfield, batting second. He had a decent year for them. 15 homers, 47 RBI, 19 steals, but only a 258 average. Chase Headley, he's always good for them. So hopefully he'll have a better year than last year. Down year kind of. 247, 14 homers and 60 RBI. So hopefully he can crack that 20 homer mark. Carlos Quentin, he's old and he's past his prime, but he's going to have to lock down the 4th spot for them. Yonder Alonso, great contact guy. 9 homers, but 62 RBI and 277 average. So hopefully he has a good year as well. Jed Jerko, I think he came up a year ago or 2 years ago, and he had a pretty good year. So we'll see how he does. Then Seth Smith is starting at the 7 hole. And he's going to be he had 9 homers and 42 RBI in limited time last year. And then Nick Hundley is your catcher, and he's gonna lock down the 8 hole. So now let's go to the starters. Ian Kennedy, he's on the downside of his playing career, so we'll see how he does. I doubt he'll do well, but hopefully he does well. I hate to see players do bad as they go with age. I want to see them go out with a bang. Andrew Kashner, he was a prospect, a highly rated prospect, and now he's in the big leagues, and he did decently well last year. 10-9, 3.51 ERA. So hopefully he has another good year like that. Tyson Ross, another decent player. He wasn't a top prospect, but he was a pretty good prospect for them. Came up through the system, went 6-5, 3.52 ERA, and hopefully he's going to be in his starting rotation, so we'll have a bigger sample size of how he's going to do. Eric Stoltz, don't know too much about him, and Robbie Erlin, same here. Josh Johnson, he's going to start the year off on the DL, I think. I'm not sure, but hopefully he comes back well. Casey Kelly, also a top prospect. We'll see how he progresses, but he's going to be on the DL as well. And Corey Lukey, I heard of that name, I just don't know too much about him. So now the closer is going to be either Houston Street or Joaquin Benoit. I believe it's going to be Street, and he had 12 saves last year. Yikes. But I still think Street is going to be a closer. Benoit might be the closer for them, but I like him as a setup man. Then Nick Vincent is your other setup man. And then Cameron Maybin is going to be out for an extended amount of time, so I'm not sure how what his status is. Yasmani Grandal going to be the backup catcher. Chris Denorfia in the outfield with Kyle Blanks as utility man. Alexi Amarista going to be your other second baseman, and Tommy Medica is your backup first baseman. Relievers, Dale Thayer, Alex Torres, Brad Brock, and Tim Stauffer. So I think they have a either last place or fifth place finish. We'll see how they do. I just don't see them going anywhere too far with that kind of roster. So finally, we're going to move on to the Colorado Rockies, who finished last year in a tough NL West. They added Justin Morneau, Brett Anderson, Drew Stubbs, LaTroy Hawkins, and Jordan Lyles. Well, they lost Todd Helton to retirement, Dexter Fowler, Yorvi Torrealba, and Drew Pomeranz. So Morneau is going to prosper on the Rockies playing field because he is a power hitter, and that's pretty much it. If you're a power hitter and you're in Colorado, you are in heaven. They lost. Yeah, they lost to Dexter Fowler, but that's fine because, he got traded for a couple of good prospects, so I think he'll do well. But I think the Rockies filled those holes where Dexter Fowler would have been in center field with Brandon Barnes. But then Dexter is going to have a bad time in Houston. I feel bad for you, Dexter. Pray for Dexter. But Justin Morneau, back to him. He's gonna do well, and I hope he has a turnaround because he was hurt for a lot of years, and the Twins, they wanted to keep him, but they just couldn't, so I think he'll have a turnaround here. Brett Anderson, he is good when he is healthy, but I don't know. If he stays healthy, he might have a good year this year. And it was a good signing by the Rockies. It's like that Josh Johnson signing. It's a similar kind of signing in that there's low risk, and there's high reward. So I like that signing. Drew Stubbs, backup outfielder, or maybe starting outfielder. I'm not too sure, but he'll do fine. LaTroy Hawkins is going to be your closer, which worries me so much because Colorado is known for their long ball. LaTroy Hawkins does not have overpowering stuff. So I'd rather have like Aroldis Chapman pitching in Colorado where he throws 100 and 101 mile an hour, because even if they hit the ball out, it's going to be way gone. It's going to be longer. Like if they make good contact, it's going to be gone either way. But if it's a guy like LaTroy Hawkins where he goes on he focuses more on getting outs on contact, then he might just leave a pitch up like at 86, and with Colorado's air, it's just gonna fly out with no problem, So I don't know if that made sense, but I hope you guys get it. And then Jordan Lyles, he got picked up in the Dexter Fowler trade, I believe, and he's a good prospect, but he just hasn't panned out for the Astros. Yorvi Torrealba, he was on the Angels farm system. Not exactly farm system. He got signed to a minor league contract with a invite to spring training, but then he got released, so now he's looking for a new team. Drew Pomeranz, another starting pitcher. So now let's look at their lineup. Corey Dickerson, 256 average, 10 homers, 38 RBI, limited playing time, only 360 at-bats, so we'll see how he does. Nolan Arenado, he is a good player. I think he's a dark horse as well. 550 at-bats, but he hit 287 and 13 homers and 69 RBI. So he's going to have the starting third baseman role, so we'll see how he does there. Cargo, he's going to be good as always. 93 RBI, 29 homers, monster year last year. He might crack the 100 RBI mark this year. It's just that him and Tulo, they have injury problems, so hopefully they can stay healthy. Troy Tulowitzki, 25 homers, 90 RBI in the 4-hole. 296 average, which is very nice. Michael Kadire, getting up there in age, but great hitter. He's getting slow in the outfield, but hopefully he'll stay healthy, and he'll have a good year this year. Justin Morneau, like I said, he will have a good year this year. I just have a feeling that he's going to hit. I'm going to make a bold prediction right here, and I have him hitting 25 homers this year. Alright, and then Willeen Rosario is going to be their backup catcher. Then DJ LeMahieu is going to be their second baseman, rounding out that lineup. Now let's go to the possible starting rotation. Jorge De La Rosa scares me as the opening day starter. He is not an ace. That's all I have to say. But he's a solid pitcher, so we'll see how he does. Brett Anderson, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to lock up the 2, maybe even become an ace for this team. Tyler Chatwood, he sucked as an Angel, but he's adapting, he's developing, and I think he'll have a decent. I don't think he'll have a good year this year. If he's lucky, he gets 500 with his record. Juan Nicasio, another solid pitcher. Franklin Morales, probably picked up from the Boston Red Sox, I want to say. And then Julius Chakin, he's on the bench because he is hurt, and he had a pretty good. He had a over 500 record and with a 3.83 ERA, so he'll be solid when he comes back. And then Jordan Lyles stashed as a long reliever. LaTroy Hawkins is their closer. I'd rather have Rex Brothers, honestly, but LaTroy's going to be their closer. Rex Brothers and Matt Belisle are their centermen. Josh Rutledge is on their bench as a backup second baseman. Drew Stubbs, Brandon Barnes, like I said, they were both backup outfielders. Michael McHenry as a backup catcher. Wow, I'm stumbling over my words. Charlie Blackmon as another outfielder. Ryan Wheeler and Paul Janish. That number might change as they make more cuts, but I think they'll do well. All right, so the relievers. Boone Logan off the Yankees, I want to say. Wilton Lopez, Christian Friedrich, and Nick Massett. And Jordan Lyles will probably join this bullpen. But I wanted to get into their prospects because they have some interesting prospects in Jonathan Gray, 25th overall prospect. David Dahl, the 85th overall prospect as an outfielder. Kyle Parker and Trevor Story. And I honestly think they'll have a decent year this year. I think they'll have almost a 500 record, just won't reach that 500 record if they all stay healthy. They're probably 2 or 3 years away from fully reaching their potential, and I think that's a pretty good number to put on them. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry I'm so boring, but yeah, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.